Hello. In this video, I am going to demonstrate how to paint violets. And I'm continuing with this set of porcelain mugs that we have the roses, the pansy, and now we're going to have the violets. Okay, so I come in here with my round liner. And the one thing that is different about this, of how I start this, is I start with the heart shape leaves, like this here, and they're quite large. So basically it's two hearts. Now I think maybe I should overlap because they're usually kind of bunched up together, one on top of another. It's more organic the way they really grow. Okay, like that. So it's just to get an idea of the placement. So you want to hold your mug like this, like you're gonna be displaying it or drinking out of it. Okay, so now that's the first part. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here, load my brush with my square shader all the way across, and I'm going to turn this so you can see. And remember those long sweeping strokes, and I'm going to stop towards the center. And then I'm going to start here from the center and swing out like that. Alright, so now I'm going to double load my brush like this and add a tiny bit of, just a tiny bit of black so that I end up with a black-green. So I'm going to come right up against that one leaf. So now this is a little shaded, so it's simulating a cast shadow. So that's why we have it a little darker in this area, because this petal is casting a shadow on this side. Alright, so then you just so there we have now. I like to add a little bit of warmth, so I'm going to come here with my yellow and put just a tiny bit of golden color in there. A pecan, not has a little more warmth to it. Has a little more red. Okay. And the reds do tend to fire down a little bit in the kiln, during the firing process, so it'll be toned down a little bit. All right, so now let's get ready. Let's do we'll still come back and touch this up a little bit. And so now the next step is the violets. So the violets, I like to put a little bit of just color in here like this. But one thing that the violets do is they actually take up a little bit of space, sometimes on top of, they're always on top of the foliage, the leaves. They're not very respectful of their space. Alright, so then you can come in here, remember this tool, the little Kemper tool? Alright, so a good way to get your placement is to do, you wipe out the petals of the violet. And it's like two rabbit ears, then two, think of them as arms on each side. And then the petal in the front, it's a little reminiscent of the pansy, right? The petal in the front is, they're in the same family actually. And so the violets are just narrower and kind of longer, but they're also 5 petals. So now we're going to come in here, and I'm still using a square shader, a square brush, but I'm going from the top down, and I am actually lifting color from that blue, kind of carving in the shape of those petals. So now that looks like a white petal right there. And you know, there are white, now that I think about it, I have seen white violets, but this one we're gonna make, it's gonna be actually a violet color, but you can have a white one in there also for contrast. It'd be kind of nice. I have seen them that way. Very pretty. All right, so there we have one. And the center, you are going to want to come back before we fire it. You're going to want to open that up with, make sure that you have a nice space in the middle, because that's where we're going to put the little bit of yellow. And you want to make sure that you don't have any blue in there, because if you have blue, you're going to end up with a green center. Just so we're almost back to the pansy. I mean the white of the mug. All right, so we got, that was the prima donna. In other words, it's the main lady. So now we're going to do some secondary ones. Back here, there's another petal, and here's another one, and then here's another one, and here's a partial one, because sometimes they're bunched up in front of another, of each other. But you always want to have one where you show all the petals, and it's just kind of basic, good design. You want to have a... All right, so now we're going to continue, and we're going to do another one here. This is called wiping out. Most of you know that, like China painter students. But if you're just starting, this is your first try at painting, at China painting, then that's what that's called. So now this one has the center. There's the center of this one, and we want to really emphasize and right here, then bring this out and see. We've got to, we cannot fire it without having the right amount of light, medium, and dark, and for sure the light, because once it's fired, that's it. You can't, it's permanent. So it's better to have less paint than more paint in your first fire anyways, your first. Now, because I've said I wanted them to be violet color, I'm going to come in here with some pink and you know how pink and blue is going to give me a violet color to it. I mean, there is some colors that are already made up, but you can, just like anything, just like you can mix your own combinations. If you have your color wheel, your primary colors, that you can mix these colors together. So it's gonna get, but we're still keeping it very, very light. Now the edges, I want to come back here and just soften them out, feather them out. This is called, there's another term for China painting term, is you feather it out. It's walk it out like this. It's gonna take, this is called the background. You kind of fluff it up. You can almost not see where it ends. That's kind of what we're doing here. So basically I'm using 2 brushes. Now, I'm going to wait until after I do the fire, the first fire, then is when we're going to do the little bit of, the little face there. I call it the face. I don't know why, but it seems like they're looking at us. Okay. All right, now I'm going to get some color down here. I like to put some blue color also so that it looks like maybe there's more flowers down here, because those violets, they do get around. Once they spread quite a bit. Once you have them in your garden, it's hard to get rid of them. All right, so I think this is it for now, and we'll continue on the next fire. Thank you.